Alright, Dr. Phil here this morning. Here at the bus lot, or the primary bus lot. See if we can get the sun out the face. And we're gonna be taking a bus up to San Francisco. Because so today I'm gonna be pulling my first section 2, but basically a second bus was needed because the first bus was just too populated. So I'll be cruising up to San Francisco, taking an express, stopping in Santa Cruz, San Diego, San Jose, Oakland, and then San Francisco. Over here, this is our graveyard. So these buses have been busted, broken down, crashed. This is where they end up. You can see over there. If we can get it in focus here. Some of the crash buses. There we go. So typically what they do is they keep those over there and they use those for scraps. Over here, some maintenance. It's where they keep the old buses. But where we're going today is we're going over to the B lot. Gonna look for 86864, which is my bus. So when you come in, if you come into LA, after you drop off your passengers, you bring the bus over here, you drive it through here and bring it into the back, and that's over there is where we have our cleaning station. It's where they clean, refuel, dump the bus, all that good stuff. And there she is. So this is the B lot. This is like the overflow area. And this is going to be our bus today. 86864. Taking up to San Francisco. So I'm in a bit of a rush, so I'm going to show you a little bit of my pre-trip. You know, like I said, I can't do a full pre-trip because, you know, I don't have time for that. You know, I'll do the important safety stuff. Alrighty, so this is my bus here, nice and clean, nice newer one, still smells nice, fresh and new. So what I'm going to do is, first things first, I'm going to turn on the lights, turn on the hazards, power her on. Not turn her on, just power her on. Then I'm gonna look over here. Check. We have a blue book that has all our papers and stuff in it. All our registration, insurance, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna check. I would check that. We have a log, tells us the information on the vehicles, and you know, were there any problems before? I would check that. Like I said, I can't do a full pre-trip here with you guys. It's gonna take too long. So I'm just gonna show you some of the basic stuff that I do. Got my bag here on board. Alright, so typically in a pre-trip what I would do is once I've checked the paperwork, make sure the paperwork is good, then I like to come outside and do an outside deal. So I'm going to check the mirrors, make sure that they're nice and solid. You know, when I get inside, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're set up. Check the top of the bus, see if there's any damage to the windows. Look down the bus, see if there's any damage to the side of the bus. Make sure the door is good. Make sure the door window is nice and solid. And then I'm going to check out my markers, make sure all my markers are working. As you can see here, they're working just fine. As I make my way down, I'm going to double check those markers. I'm going to do a basic check of my tires, make sure there's no bubbles, make sure there's no cracks, no damage to the tires. Check my bolts, my lug nuts and my hub nuts, make sure all those are nice and tight, make sure there's no rust streaks, make sure that all looks good. You know, check the thread. See, this is a brand new bus. You can tell, look how nice and thick that thread is. Yeah, real nice. And then as I make my way down, check my luggage compartments. Make sure they're nice and clean and dry. The lights are working. They're locking into place properly. There's a little lock right there. And that seems to be fine. Do this with one hand. Why is it so hard to move? Oh my god, why is this one so hard? There we go. And the latch was a little stiff. Alright. So I'm going to continue by checking all the other compartments. Making sure they're good. Looks good. So this is the compartment that has my handicap in it. So I'm going to open this guy up. And this is an important one because it's got my chalk. Make sure I got extra belts, my triangles, and got some windshield wipers, which is cool. Here's my handicap. I can see my chains over there. I don't know if you can see it in the dark there. Yeah, make sure my chains are on there. In case I run into any snow, I'm gonna need those chains. You know, make sure my lights are good, my radio, because my this is, I believe, one of the AC vents. Make sure that that's nice and clear, there's no obstructions. So right here I got my fuel. Make sure my def cap is nice and tight. Make sure none of that's loose, not leaking, damage. Check my rear tires, my drive tire. Make sure that that's good, make sure there's no damage. It looks good, it's got good tread. There's all the bolts look like they're on there nice and tight. Because the stem is on there, see it's all good. I'm gonna do the same thing with the tag. Make sure she doesn't have any damage. Check all the bolts, make sure they're nice and tight on there. No rust streaks, no damage to the rims, tires. It goes. So then this area right here, I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna check, check my fuel filter back here. Make sure that's nice and clear. There's no damage, no leaks. Check all my hoses. Make sure there's no leaks, no damage. And this is the toilet system, batteries. A lot of electrical stuff. You're gonna check back there. Make sure there's no damage, no leaks, all that good stuff. And it looks fine. So then I'm gonna open up the back here. So on this one, it's a new one, it just latches open. Close this guy back here. You see my lights are good. So I'm gonna do a quick check back here. Check my radiator fluid, make the level, make sure it's nice and clear, not damaged. Lines aren't leaking. Cap's good. It was, make sure there's no leaks. It's a little dirty, but it's fine. Check my lines here, make sure they're nice and tight. Make sure there's no loose lines. Here's my oil fill, my dipstick, so I'm pull that out. Doing this with one hand. Make sure my oil level is good. My oil level looks good. So she's good on oil. And there's my power steering back here. So the power steering has a little dipstick. Like I said, it might be a little different. Some buses, they have a glass. This bus has a dipstick, so you just undo that. Check the level of the dipstick. The dipstick looks good, it's full. That's my power steering right there, so that's all good. Put that back on. This is a nice newer Volvo turbo diesel engine. Check my alternators, make sure there's no frayed or jacked up wires, so it's secure. Make sure it's all secured by you. This is the AC compressor, it's secure, belts look good. No broken wires, no broken hoses. It's a nice clean motor. Just check my radiator. Make sure there's no obstructions to the radiator. Make sure there's no damage, no leaks. You can see the area here is nice and clear. Some of the older ones, they have the big radiator fan here, but this one has the actual smaller electric radiator fans, so you don't have to worry about that one so much. Get that done. We can go ahead and close this guy. See if I can do this with one hand. Come on. Let's see here. I'll put you guys down here while I try to close this guy. Going. So we're gonna check our top markers. Top markers look good. Plates mounted. We're gonna make sure the bus is level. No unusual leaks underneath. Lights are working. On this side, again, check the top. Make sure there's no damage. Check the side. Make sure there's no damage. Look at my markers. Make sure they're all properly lit. Check my tires. Make sure that they're all those nuts are good. Check my drive tire, check the lugs, make sure all these guys are good, there's no damage, no loose. So then yeah, I would do the same thing over here. You know, check the compartments. There's a the rear fire suppression system. Here are my chains. You know, check all these compartments again on this side, make sure that they're nice and clean, no damage. Doors lock, all that good stuff. Over here is my my driver tire. So then, you know, make sure all my markers are good. And I'll check the front of the bus. Make sure all the lights are working. Markers seem to be working. Make sure the bus is level. No unusual air happening. So that's my cold check. I'm gonna come on inside. And I'm gonna start this bad boy up. Oh, not that. Let it cycle. Alright, start her up. Let that run for a bit. Turn the AC on. You don't want to be miserable back there. Check my mic. Test. Mic is good. So at this time, what I'll typically do is I'll start to do my brake test. I'll make sure if I give my governor cut out. Right there, governor just cut out, so she's good. And then, because I'm pressed for time, I don't typically do a full brake test. What I'll do is I'll do an application test. And basically what I'll do is I'll give it an application, give it a minute or so, make sure I don't lose more than 3 psi pressure within a minute. Once I've done that, then I like to do a cut in. So I'll give it a few applications. I'll get below 100 or below 80 because she should cut in around 85. So she cut in, she's building back up, so that's good. The brake is on, she's good. So you can, like I said, you're supposed to do the full test, but typically, you know, we're pressed for time, so I do a basic test, make sure the brakes are working. Then I'll do a cabin check while she's still warming up, getting the air up. On the first front seat there, make sure the fire extinguisher is tagged and dated. I'll check all the seats, make sure they're secure to the bus, they're not loose, not broken, no damage. Check bathroom, make sure bathroom's good. Then what I would do is those on the way back, we check our emergency exits. You know, we have our emergency latches here. You want to push those guys up, check around the edges, make sure that the seals are nice and sealed, and that the door is working properly. Let's see if I can get this back down. Oops, drop my phone. All right, so yeah, so I'll do that with the rear emergency exit and the front emergency exit. Make sure that those are working properly. Then I'm going to check my emergency windows. Emergency windows, all buses. Some buses, it's just specific windows, but most buses, all the windows open up for emergency exits. So we just make sure to check that at least 4 of them work. We open them up, make sure that those are working properly in case of emergency. Because, yeah, because for greyhound, we make sure that we check 2 in the back, 2 in the front. But like I said, all these windows open up for should open up for emergency exits, with the exception of the handicap door. So yeah, you know, making sure the seats are good, making sure, you know, the seat backs aren't broken or messed up, the electrical's working. I'm gonna check this window here, make sure that it works. And there she goes. Make sure this one is good. All right. So she's built up pressure. And then what I like to do is you come back out, and you do another check, do another walk around, make sure your lights are on, make sure the bus is level and that the air is built up properly. Check for any new unusual leaks since you turned it on. That looks good, I don't see any unusual leaks. The lights are working properly. Bus is nice and level. Like I said, this is a pretty new bus, so she should be good. Should have no issues. Yeah, looks good. Alright, so yeah, make sure my seat is good, make sure I just need to make sure my seat is good, make sure my seat is set up, you know, fill out paperwork, and take her on over and get her loaded up and ready to go. So yeah, so that's a brief walkthrough of how I do a pre-trip. Again, that's really kind of an abridged pre-trip that we typically do to get out of here on time. You know, I got like 30 minutes, you know, to get this bus ready and get these people out of here. You know, especially considering I'm doing this, you know, I'm filling up a section that's already been filled, and we just needed an extra bus. But when you're in school, you're gonna do a little bit more. You're gonna do a lot more actually. You're gonna check your brake chambers. You're gonna inspect your frame and all that stuff. You're gonna inspect your drive. Make sure all that stuff is looking good. You're gonna be doing a full brake test, you know, with your cutting, your cutout, with your low pressure warning, with your pop-up test, all that good stuff. So, you know, make sure you learn all that stuff. Make sure you memorize it. If you get your CDL, for sure, you're definitely going to be doing all of that. So, you know, be aware of that. Other than that, you know, that's my basic check right now. I'm going to continue doing the paperwork and get my mirror set up and then take her over the terminal. So this is Otaku Phil. You know, hopefully I give you guys a little insight as to what's going on. You know, again, here in the B lot, some of the buses, getting ready to take this bus up to San Francisco. Talk to you guys later.